So is Paris-Roubaix as hard as it seems? I mean, all three of you comment on that race.
Yeah, it's really hard. He's gonna see it this year at the Tour, stage 3 or 4, right? Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I mean, it's tough, but I think it's like anything. You got to train for it and be mentally prepared. The difference between those races is a lot of riders go in and they're just mentally they don't want to be there. I know when Christian did it, he's like, I'm just going to do the first 60 miles and I'll see you later, 80 miles. But you know, these guys are there to see the mountains and then they just leave me in the dust. But
I started. I used to do it before George. I used to ride in the front for the first. Yeah. So I did the first 110K, keep him out of the wind. Now I started the first time I did 99 with one flip bar on my back pocket. He said, "Whoa, take the flip bar." But you know, I had the best seat in the house because I used to get to go to the first speed zone. I went to the car, went to the finish line, and eating my bocadillo, watching the big screen, watching George race over the cobblestones. I was all nice and clean. But yeah, it is hard as especially like I can't go that fast. George can go much faster over the caliber. It's almost like it seems like you guys are just playing over it. You know, like when the slower you get, it's just long.
yeah, it's all about finding the line, the position yourself. And, you know, I think like Andrew's really good. I'm sure he won't have a problem because he grew up in an area like this where you always got to be conscientious of traffic and people and riders. And it really helps with your awareness, and you can really use that in the peloton. Because there's guys that will get to those situations and they can be the best guys in the race, but if they're not good at getting to the front of those situations, they may never see the front again in races like Paris-Roubaix.
Is there going to be a team time trial this year? 14?
No, this year there's only one time trial. I think it's the second to last day. Did they do that? It's like a 54, 55K time trial, just one. No team time trial this year. Yeah. I know, everybody always loves that. It's like, yeah, they need to bring that to the U.S., to California or Colorado.
How difficult is it moving from team to team and, you know, you're essentially changing all your gear from bikes to, is it a big transition for you guys, or?
Well, I was only on 4 teams my whole, well, basically 3 teams my whole career. So, 19 years. So I didn't really change that much. And when I changed from Discovery Channel to HTC, that was a big change because a lot of different faces, a lot of different equipment. And then when I changed from HTC to BMC, I went back with Jim Akowicz, which was a really good friend of mine for a long time, and that was a much easier transition. You've been on the same pro team your whole career, right?
Yeah.
These folks are under 23 team, is that correct?
Yeah.
What would you look for in those 2 young whippersnappers there to pick a winner? What would you see in them that you would know that they've got what it takes to the podium?
Well, you just have to Google them. I mean, you hear about these guys, right, as soon as they turn pro, and I mean, just, you read about them, and the peloton's a small world, and people talk. Remember Matt White was telling me about Cam for a long time, he was saying how unbelievable, I think Cadell, or is it Cadell or Matt White? Somebody was telling me how strong he was. Yeah, both. It's a small world, you hear a lot about him. I mean, I'm really excited. My team did really well last year. We won races all over the U.S. and young guys, a lot of Southeast guys, and I'm really looking to grow that program, and hopefully one day that'll become a real legit professional team.
How's the bed and breakfast thing going?
Oh, it's going well. We just opened the restaurant last weekend. So I retired from cycling and then got into the hotel and restaurant business. Now I'm thinking, what the hell was I thinking? I should take a couple of years off and just sat around, but I didn't do that, and I'm blessed to be able to be part of that, and it's a lot of work though.
This question's for Andrew. Hi, Andrew again. The first time I ever saw a watt meter, actually you were riding it. You probably had the first watt meter in Miami. And how is your watt meter then compared to the ones that you're using today?
I think I think the one today that I'm on is a lot more accurate, but I think that one was still, I mean, the whole point of a power meter, you know, is to give you an idea of what you can do. So as long as even if the numbers are a little off as compared to what's accurate, as long as it's consistent day to day, it'll help you. And at that point, in my cycling career, I was just starting, and it's like, it was, yeah, it's funny to look back at that, and I was riding around, and you're trying to learn what all of it means, and I think that thing knew more about cycling than I did at that point. Yeah.
By the way, we have time for one more question before we have to go across the street.
Cam? There's a famous YouTube video out there about you, about how the reason you're on a pro cycling team is you changed Yvonne Vassel's flat tire.
Well, that's not entirely true. He'd already changed it, he just didn't have a pump to pump it up. That, or he just didn't want to have to do that extra bit of manual labour. I think the guy who was riding with it actually changed it, and he didn't have the pump. It gets worse. We're actually training in San Pellegrino last year, and he had a flat tyre. That time, I had the spare tube, so he just handed me the wheel. That was fine. Put it back in his bike, and as often happens, you know, the chain sort of slips off the big chain ring, and I just gave him his bike back, jumped on my bike, and he just stood over it and looked at it. I said, mate, like, we're going to go, or what? Oh, but Wurf, my chain's not on. I said, oh, we'll put it back on. Oh, but it's all greasy. And I still don't know why I didn't punch him in the mouth, but I actually got off the bike and put it on there for him. But it won't happen again.
Anybody wants to see an entertaining video? Google Cam Wurf, Castaway, and you'll learn a lot more about Cam than you'll ever want to know.
Okay, guys, any more questions? One more question.
Is it true that the peloton gangs up by country in the Grand Tour? And if so, what is your role as Americans and I guess Australians?
I don't think that. I mean, I think in like a certain situation, maybe a Spaniard would rather see a Spaniard win over a Frenchman or an American or something. But a lot of the time, there's infighting within the countries. You know, like if you look at Spain, you have Valverde. Like look at the World Championships this year. It's like you have no idea what's happening. But it's I mean, you have even within their own team, you have a lot. I mean, Spain's a great example. You know, they're always Rodriguez, Valverde. Quintana's Colombian, but I mean, yeah, that one, like I don't know, they have a little bit more loyalty, I think, than any other nation out there. I mean, I won't. I mean, like maybe, yeah, the French. Okay, fair enough.
Tudo bem?
Keep walking, yeah.
Perfect. Move.
Oh,
All right, let's